Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We're zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is, how do I get the change and transformation so that I can enter into a new relationship on a healthy foundation? I think this is a great viewer question because it has to do with a sense of completion or wholeness within. This feels to a large degree like security and serenity. In other words, that you have something anchored within you that something cannot take away, and that is self-esteem. Self-esteem is an internal state of valuing yourself. And if you've been in relationships that have been highly controlling and manipulative, chances are you feel a shortage in this department. You feel a shortage or a lack, that this becomes a trigger point, and you feel not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you're unpleasing to somebody, you're unlovable to somebody, and it makes it very difficult not only to process current relationships, but enter into new relationships or relate to people in a new and healthy manner. So I think it's a great viewer question. So we really need to look at what self-esteem is, and to understand that self-esteem is an inherent state. It is a state that unfolds in and of itself. So it comes from the unmanifest to the manifest. This is known as power. So what you might have seen or experienced in your previous relationships is kind of like if you're unhappy, or you've been wounded, or feel constantly triggered, or you're not, humming along the way that you want your life to be, or you feel that your relationships or your life is a mess, or you're not in a good place, oftentimes there's a degree to which you haven't checked in and kept in an embrace, sort of constant contact mode with self-esteem, knowing what this is and getting the momentum of it. Self-esteem versus low self-esteem. So low self-esteem, there's always going to be a counterforce, meaning it is imprinted in you from something outside of yourselves that has taught you, like going to school or being educated by a teacher, that you've been taught that you are not good enough. Something about you is unlovable. Something about you is wrong or inherently flawed. And that, you should be so ashamed of yourself. In other words, there's something wrong with you at your core that can oftentimes, according to other people who are manipulative, can never be changed. Your personality, what you value, how you walk, how your schedule is. Everything is up for grabs. How you cut your food, how you chew, how you swallow, your handwriting. Anything. When people really get down and they try to manipulate, the sky's the limit. They can really try to go for really anything when they're really looking to manipulate. So if you are struggling with this, or if you've suffered, or you've really been in a lot of emotional pain because of these little things that have been whispered in your ear and that you have been taught about yourself, that you have to apologize, explain, and justify, there is a counterforce. So this is oftentimes what I want you to understand is a force. So there's a counterforce to the force. So if someone comes at you and then elicits that fight or flight, that limbic brain, and causes you to go into defense mechanism mode, sometimes people's life gets stuck on the defense mechanism mode. They're always having to explain and justify themselves. They're over-obligating. They never feel good enough. Their car, their clothes, their income, their job, their vacations, everything is subject to disappointment, because that is all the terrain of the ego. It is all the terrain of the ego. Get off the ego terrain for a moment. If you want to change it, if you want to and have a different momentum, that you need to really get and understand in depth what self-esteem is, and recover it if you have to. Recover it, dust it off, let it shine again and not to feel guilty or inhibited. To realize that self-esteem does not require any external force. Okay, it does not require any external force. Having to prove or justify itself or explain or convince or cajole or stand up to. It is a essence in and of itself of valuing oneself. A lot of people have not had an opportunity, especially if they have been raised in families where there was constant criticism, manipulation, gaslighting, brainwashing. Oftentimes this is not a experiential state. You can really kind of look back and reflect back and then understand in what state have you been unhappy, or have you been deprived, or you have not been living in the spirit of valuing oneself or your spirit, which is self-esteem. To what degree were you taught the otherwise, or to what degree in what relationship or what workplace or what community taught you that you weren't good enough, and that you have taught that, that you're wrong, let me make all the decisions, let me call the shots, you don't know, ha ha ha, OMG, what about you, LOL, so oftentimes there then becomes very little room within to stuff all this negativity, so it tends to then permeate other people's beings, and then they feel their life is a mess. So to really remedy this, we need to understand what self-esteem is and how it flows, and how it should be a constant. It should be a constant. This is not asking too much. This is for you to realize and become aware of. And because then when someone comes out trying to attack personally or manipulate, you won't fall for it. You will not be affected. What used to feel like battery acid now just is like water off of your back. So understand that the feeling state is a good litmus test for you to check in, and then understand where you need some work, or where you need to send love and light and understanding and esteem and valuing yourself versus devaluing yourself. So once again, it is to understand that self-esteem does not require a counterforce. It doesn't have to explain and justify itself. It is a be state. What could be easier? Okay? Meaning it is within you already. You have to get into the habit. You have to get into a good, healthy habit of calling that forth and being in okayness, no matter what you've been through before this video. No matter what fights, blow-ups, divorces, separations, misunderstandings, heated words, hurtful words that have been said, oftentimes those are arising out of misunderstanding and a feeling of being under attack, or operating from a sense where you don't value yourself, or you're having to explain and justify and recover that state. It's kind of like you want to stay out of the boxing ring, if you will. As I say, you don't want to enter into the boxing ring. Self-esteem, which means you have value for your own experience as a human being, and so it is. Namaste. That's it. You don't have to explain through the eons of time, whatever. You don't need to get intellectualized about it. You don't need to get religious about it. It just is. Now, if you are someone who has a real problem hurting others, then your low self-esteem, needs to be corrected. Because if you're suffering and you're hurting others, and you're feeling that you have to resort to that, then you need to check that out, because there's another real bond or connection when people feel that they have to hurt others to get their way. They're not feeling adequate enough. So oftentimes people hurt others to get a sense of authority or importance. So if you're sick and tired of launching into a tirade, a fight, yelling spats or quiet spells, where you're going into the silent treatment, realizing that you're not valuing yourself, or you feel that you're being reflected back that valuation and respect. So it needs to be a two-way street. So realize and get in touch and practice through the role of meditation and self-talk, which means I embrace the precious and the sacred within. And so it is. And I know this to be so. I know this to be so. And to come into a know state and a degree of what we would call certainty or knowingness. I know I am a person of value. It doesn't mean I'm a billionaire. It doesn't mean I'm a quadrillionaire. It doesn't mean I'm a rocket science. But I have my own place. I have my own niche. I have my own impact. I have my own life. And this is a gift. And I will use it wisely. And I will use this gift and help to really create and be creative in this, because really that's what the divine is. It wants you to create from that healthy, happy space and to live in more of the joy vibe. And so if your life has been overwhelmed with stress or fighting or negative words and hurt feelings, then you have to say, to what degree have I taken the wrong steps? And so you might need to become sort of very silent within yourself, and it has to be an experiential B state of valuing yourself and being able to really key into and valuing yourself as a human being for no other reason. And to get out of the head where you're always analyzing back and forth, begin to allow that to cease and come into a very liquid but very calm B state that is one of valuing yourself and taking care of and nurturing. So getting in touch with your creator in that way, which means I am created not for naught. I am created for a purpose. And to realize that that purpose is a positive one, which is going to be wrought with not only reward, it's going to be in and of itself rewarding in and of itself, and it does not need any other item, any other person to keep it going. This is advanced, this is intense stuff. So for people who have wanted to reprogram themselves, who wanted to engage in neuroplasticity, which means have new thoughts, new experience, feel good, feel better, and manifest greatness in their life and be able to see it, taste it, and know it, you have to be able to live and open up that space within and hold that space. Hold that space and allow it to be, and catch yourself from when you feel yourself engaging in self-doubt, self-deprecation, or allowing others to sneak in and create self-doubt or deprecation. Realize that those are some opportunities for you to learn and go back and hold that space of self-esteem. But peace and harmony, I've been going through this for 60 years. My marriage of 60 years, how can I learn it now? Hold the space. Hold the space. Oh, but peace and harmony, my parents didn't teach me this. Then you are your teacher here. Get a teacher, get a mentor. Have and know it's important for you to pay attention and enforce this B state within yourself. Life will become more fluid. Life will become easier. Life will become less of a struggle. You'll be happier with your performance. You'll be happier with how you feel. You'll be happier with your choices and your decisions once you hold that space within yourself. No matter what has happened, whatever has happened is just like the superficial. It is what it is. It's water under the bridge. It is gone. Come back and make that declaration and hold that space of valuing yourself as a human being. Human beings, when you make a mistake, don't feel bad. It is an opportunity for learning. So when you go through that was a mistake, understand what was a mistake for you and what is not a mistake, and stop apologizing for yourself when you're just a human being. You're not a human doing, you're a human being. And protect yourself, and you don't have to get into this apologetic state that apologizes over and over again, okay? That is a result of low self-esteem. Stop. Just let it go. Catch the habit like a bad habit, like smoking or drinking. And hold this space and value yourself. Value that spirit, which is that invisible divine intelligence running through you, and embrace that and know that. And allow that to shine. So it's an allow state, a be state, a permission state, and a forgiveness state. And once you can hold that, you'll find that you have to stay with it. Enforce it for 30 days. Enforce it first for an hour, then 2 hours, then half a day, then all day, then 2 days, then 3 days, then a whole week. If you can get to that and then enforce it and begin to gradually grow, you'll find that you're behaving, you're carrying yourself better, you're speaking in a more effective way, you're not launching into tirades where you feel embarrassed, ashamed, is bringing out the worst of you. Surround yourself where people are bringing out the best of you. Make a deliberate effort and to live in that positive self-esteem. Begin to go from a small percentage to a large percentage until it's 100%, and then cap it there. Cap it into the unlimited, but allow yourself to feel good. Stop beating oneself up. Forgive and release and let it go. Stop holding on. Shake it out. Begin to release and let it go and live in that higher vibrational state where joy and happiness and wholeness and completion permeate you. You don't have a bite taken off of you. You're not missing anything. You have everything you need. Go ahead and be it today. It's your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out. Have a beautiful day.